let's talk about Jasmine Crockett, because Republicans are very mad at Jasmine Crockett. And there was a chatter in here that was also very mad at Jasmine Crockett, or very mad at me for defending this. As you guys know, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is someone who has to roll around in a wheelchair because of an accident where a tree fell on him and he was wheelchair bound for the rest of his life. Now, Jasmine Crockett at the Human Rights Campaign, which makes it even funnier, who is also a Texas politician herself, had this to say about Governor Greg Jedediah Abbott. Let's hear what she had to say.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And
oh my God, Fox News, jaw-dropping insult. Oh, dude, dude, no, soy right, dark woke. It's happening, dude. Dark woke versus soy right. I'm telling you right now. Dude, Donald Trump literally in 2016 looked dead ass at a disabled reporter and went, like, I don't even know how to do it. Like he straight up made fun of a disabled reporter and did the most childish, most gross thing I've ever seen. And these guys who voted for him and love that he did that are trying to be like, wow, ableism, sweetie. You're doing an ableism. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't attack Caitlyn Jenner for being trans. Why do you think this is different? Great question. Caitlyn Jenner being attacked on the basis of being trans is appropriate if you literally message it correctly. Just calling Caitlyn Jenner by her dead name is not the same in this situation. Man, I get it. By no means am I defending the right to Republicans, but I think it's important to remember the harm that ableism and ableist terminology has on disabled people across the board. I think there are light versions of pejoratives and things that you're saying in comparison to higher degrees of doing an ableist act, okay? It's the difference between someone using the term lame, which is still a way to describe someone with a disability, versus just slamming the R word when you're talking about a child with Down syndrome or something, okay? Like, there are degrees to this. I don't know why people always have this capacity to blow out the context and make it so that like anyone and everyone is engaging in the same egregious act. The example I will use is, like, for example, a white person calling a black Republican like a token, right? It's inappropriate and many people will get mad at it, but it's not the same as like saying the N-word. There are degrees to it. And I always find it really strange that I like even have to have this conversation. It's always weird to have this conversation because like everyone has a different metric for it. And for me, it's like when people say, oh, you're fat shaming a cop. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, dude, that cop killed people. Okay. I'm fat shaming him. Like, I know it's like not the best thing to do. I never said I'm a good guy. You know, does that make sense? Do you understand? There's nuance to this. There's degrees to using a pejorative against a individual. And I understand that on the other side of it, you're like, well, that person might not hear you say that word, but like your disabled friend will. But like most disabled people, I think in this community at least are, I've said way worse shit about Governor Greg Abbott. Does that make sense? Where it's like when you express your frustration with something like this, you're just basically handing a rhetorical W to the Republicans who don't give a f. And it's not reaching the bar, in my opinion, because this is my arbitrary designation. This is all subjective. And I'm not physically disabled aside from, being 33, which is like a physical disability in and of itself because my back is constantly f***ed up. But like, you know what I mean, right? So as someone who is otherwise able-bodied, you can say, well, of course you have a different metric for it. But I still think overall that this doesn't reach the standard of like, oh my God, this is the most insane thing that someone has ever said. We have to immediately call to question Jasmine Crockett's rhetoric here, and we have to make sure that this wrong has been corrected and then have her apologize for this. I think it's silly. I think it makes us look silly. And it also hands a genuine rhetorical victory to the Republican Party in this regard. That's why they do it. That's why they cynically ham this shit up. It's also really stupid because not only do these people not care about this, but they can cynically get you to care about it because it's like, in many circumstances, it's something that you do genuinely care about because you want to be as like woke as possible. You want to be as clean as possible with your optics, but it's just the own goal. I think it's okay to sometimes be like, yeah, this shit is irrelevant and people are cynically trying to make this the new meta, the new discourse. You can say that. It's fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a champion of accessibility rights at every point. And this is the thing. This is your cause now. Like, it's just stupid. And I say this as someone who's not even a big fan of Jasmine Crockett. Okay. This is more so the principle. Yeah. Dan Crenshaw. When I said, things about how he lost his eye. Okay. And I was wrong about the facts of how he lost his eye. That was ableist, That was ableist. That was part of the reason why I got banned off of Twitch for a week. Okay, that was an ableist statement that I made about a veteran, a decorated veteran. And it's like, you understand that. You understand what the point was. I will not say how he lost his eye. Okay, Jon Stewart said it recently as well. He said something different than me, but like if the only people that care about hypocrisy are dumbass liberals, then we're just cooked. Republicans will keep slamming that button over and over and over again. And for the record, I'm not saying that there aren't things that the Democrats can say that like go above and beyond, or anyone can say that goes above and beyond, right? There are. This just simply is irrelevant. That's what I mean. It just doesn't meet that metric.
Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So
it's also not the best delivery as well. Jasmine Crockett is supposed to be the liberal darling right now for being a fighter and being a shit disturber, and then they dunk on her and drop her as soon as she gets a little too spicy. Worst enemies. Yeah, I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys do care about this a lot. I don't think you do. I don't think anyone that gets upset or offended at this is being honest. Are there things that people say that are significantly worse than this? Absolutely. And a lot of people get away with saying infinitely worse shit. But I just don't think any real human being genuinely gives a fuck about Jasmine Crockett saying this. They just hate Jasmine Crockett. And woke people, on the other hand, that want to sanitize language to the best of their ability are going to use this as a talking point to showcase their moral infallibility. That's it. And when you do that, you're doing it in a way where most normal people will look at you and go, okay, dude, all right, fine. That's it. Check my last message. By the way, Republicans are the party of abolishing DEIA, where the A is accessibility, so they're literally functionally and systematically more ableist than any joke could ever be. Exactly. It's the same exact dynamic of like, oh, people saying globalize the intifada hurts my feelings, and that's significantly more damaging than like multiple nukes worth of munitions that are being dropped on top of babies, children, women, the elderly in Gaza. Like that, like hyper focusing on my feelings over what these people are saying and what they're advocating against. Like, it's just one of those things that just like makes me so angry, where it's like, you're a piece of shit. Okay, your advocacy is around defending the Republican Party that is actively undermining every matter of like of disability activism that has taken place so far. They want to like they say like ramps are woke now, and you're over here complaining now about Jasmine Crockett calling Governor Greg Abbott Hot Wheels. He deserves to be called significantly worse shit. He deserves way worse. Okay, I'm not gonna say what I think because I will get banned. I don't care. I can't get myself to care, and I don't even like Jasmine Crockett that much. Okay, she is seen as like a liberal media darling right now, and I think she like a lot of what liberals like about Jasmine Crockett is exactly what I think is just like the optics of looking like a fighter, but not necessarily being there for issues that truly matter. I want fighters to actually fight on the issues and not just coming across as sassy on television. Lakshya Jain, this is pretty gross. It's not cool when Republicans do it, and it's not cool when Democrats do it. It's bad on the merits. It's not something that voters like, and it's a great way to further solidify an extremely toxic image of a party. Like, it's the Daily Caller post. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Yeah, Florida debates lifting some child labor laws to fill jobs vacated by undocumented immigrants. Like, the Republican Party at the national stage just removed a whole bunch of healthcare funding that specifically goes to disabled people. The Republican Party is abolishing the Department of Education, which funds a lot of the disability programs around the country. And now these douchebags are going to be like, I can't believe it's not a paralyzed governor is Governor Hot Wheels. Okay, get the out of here. You don't give a shit about this, you animal. And liberals who actually align with the Republicans on this to like be like, oh, I can't believe she said that. It's actually really bad because Governor Greg Abbott might not hear what she had to say about him, but your disabled friend will. It's like, shut the up. Okay, shut up. Lock in. Your rights are under attack. They're destroying everything. I don't give a about what Jasmine Crockett said. I'm sorry. I don't care. And you will never be able to get me to care about this. Like, what are we doing? Donald Trump is president twice now. And you're over here being like, voters hate when politicians are mean. No, they don't. They want politicians to be mean. Now let's hear these douchebags complain about it.
Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett appears to be desperately trying to capture her party spotlight, even if it means turning up the rhetoric against Republicans. It's a far cry from her comments before.
My criticism of Jasmine Crockett, by the way, is entirely on the basis of her doing exclusively this as a mechanism, as a substitute for being a real fighter. I don't care that she's making jokes at the expense of Governor Greg Abbott's disability. You will never get me to care. I don't want to tell you what my feelings are on the matter. Like I said, I will get banned. Okay. Having said that, this is not a real substitute for being a fighter. It's not. So my real criticism of Jasmine Crockett is that she does this shit instead of going out and being like, hey, how about you don't deport people for being pro-Palestine? Like, that's an insane erosion of American civil liberties that were constitutionally afforded to everyone unconditionally. That is a direct violation. Fight on that. Or if you're gonna call Governor Greg Abbott Hot Wheels, pair that up with all of the awful erosions of civil liberties, specifically on disabled people, to be like, this guy almost got killed by a tree and then has to literally roll around everywhere he goes and is simultaneously advocating alongside a party that wants to melt the rest of the disabled people. Like, it's psychotic. Talk about actual issues. Talk about the inherent hypocrisy of Governor Greg Abbott's like advocacy.
For the election, when she swore that Democrats would never, ever do this.
She's backtracking. Oh, God, this is so cowardly. I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles used to transfer migrants in the communities led by black mayors deliberately Oh, shut up. God, this is some straight up. Oh, God, this is the worst. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, too, because, like, if you double down on it, then your advocacy is what? To be ableist? Like, it's stupid. The best way to get out of it is the best way to get out of it is by saying, yeah, nobody cares about this. You don't care about this. Obviously, it doesn't matter to you, because if it did, you'd be infinitely more angry at, Governor Greg Abbott's actions against disabled people than you would about me calling him Hot Wheels. Okay. And then post a meme of him in a Hot Wheels car wheeling around.
Democrats have never endorsed political violence, but he will go to a rally and he will endorse it. This is the equivalent of playing with a loaded gun and then it backfiring on you.
Just a few months later, here she is appearing to egg on some of the agitators against Elon Musk.
Yeah, comedy is legal now, dude. I'm tempted to call this guy R-word, but I won't use it because I've used that word many times. Like, shut the up.
I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes, we are fighting for.
Wait, what do you mean? Yeah, okay. I cannot believe that she said that.
Our country, we're fighting for democracy, we're fighting for our freedoms. And when I say fighting, I'm saying that figuratively. Obviously, everything that I am promoting is nonviolent.
And now she claims Democrats need to punch their opponents.
How do you win elections in Texas as a Democrat? What do you do?
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. You know, I think, and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? I mean,
Wow. I can't believe it. This is literally what they did to you with the Rick Scott clip. I know. And I don't care. I don't care. And you shouldn't either. It is so incredible. Oh God, it's so stupid. It's so disingenuous. It's so unserious. Stop. Oh my God. Utilization of a metaphor. How dare they? Look. I hate this thing that people do. Okay. And people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but people have yelled at me for saying this before, but like, there's this tendency for people to behave. I guess I won't use the term that will get people to be mad at me because we're already talking about disability activism here. But there's a tendency for people to constantly make their political enemies look like they have no nuance, no room for nuance, no context whatsoever. I don't believe that you can embellish or use a metaphor or try to make a joke ever. If you are my political enemy, I don't think you are capable of those things. I'm going to be the most neurodivergent I can possibly be in analyzing your speech and think you are being 100% sincere with your statement. It's stupid. It's the most annoying tendency that every single person has. Like, I think most people understand it and they just still refuse to admit it. I despise it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, Steve, like, just choose the verb punch, and then knock over the head.
Calling him Governor Hot Wheels because he's in a wheelchair is pretty bold. Move from Congresswoman DEI. Dude, come on. Exactly. Thank you, Matt Walsh, for doing the point. Thank you for proving my point, dude. You see, they don't care. And you want to know something? They love that you're stupid enough to eat this bait every time, okay? They love that you are the dumbest rubes of all time. The liberal tendency and the leftist tendency to constantly purity test their own is the number one weapon that the right wields against the left all the time. And they do it in open ways like this. It is so clear. They're laughing at you. If you spend any time getting fake offended about this shit, you are the biggest rube. That's it. They're laughing at your face, okay? They are laughing directly at your face. They think you are the dumbest person on the planet. Let's hear what else these disingenuous assholes had to say.
It's interesting language choice.
Of course, and but you can see that this for her is working, right? This kind of amping it up, and some of the comments we're seeing, and it gets more and more over the top, lower and lower, frankly. But this is what they seem to want in the Democratic Party now. They want this kind of rhetoric. They want this kind of attitude. I don't think it's helping them at all, but it's helping lift the profile of people like Jasmine Crockett.
It's a great point, because some Democrats say they want to fight. It may be a figurative fight, but she's given them maybe a literal one. I don't know. Kennedy, there was this moment of Jasmine Crockett. I think this is probably the most shameful bite we're going to play. Listen to how she talks about Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, who I would remind everyone is in a wheelchair.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he...
Every statement that the right makes is violent. Their policies are inherently violent, and the statements that they make are violent. I talked about this quite a bit at the time when the Trump failed assassination happened, and the Republicans tried to do this thing where they were like, oh, it's the violent rhetoric from the Democrats that caused this to happen. And ironically enough, most people didn't eat the bait on that. And guess what happened? It fizzled away. It was a moment where, like, collectively, every single liberal all the way from the rattiest of libs to the hardline Maoists, were just like, dude, shut the fuck up. What do you mean the violent rhetoric of the left? Get the hell out of here. And guess what? It went nowhere. They kept it up. They kept talking about how like this violent rhetoric is crazy, whatever. And it didn't work because everyone knew that Republicans completely own the space of violent rhetoric. And the idea that like, you should be canceled over this is also incredibly silly because, as I've said before, time and time again, cancellations are not real. Cancel culture is not real. The only way you can actually be canceled is if you get canceled by your own fan base, by your own constituents, by your own supporters. And there's nothing that will allow a right-winger to be canceled. Nothing at all. On the other hand, liberals and the left routinely get quote-unquote canceled by their own fans. Now, I'm not saying we should let, I don't know, sex pests and criminals and awful people to get away scot-free and do whatever they want. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying exercise a little bit of fucking caution. Have a little bit of messaging discipline. It's incredibly stupid to constantly look at like the tiniest things and just be like, yeah, we gotta really fix our messaging on this. Like, yeah, you're right.
He is a hot mess, honey. So yes.
I don't know what her intent was with that, but I find that to be a disgrace.
No, she's trying to demean the governor in order to score cheap political points. She's an attention whore. And it's annoying. So when you are void of ideas, you ramp up the rhetoric. I mean, how incredible would she be if she actually laid out an economic plan for the people in Texas, for her specific constituents, and for families across the country? She would be applauded. She would be celebrated. But instead, she's kind of at the bottom of the barrel. I don't like it when people in either party do it.
Get the fuck out of here. You don't like it when people in either party do it? I don't see you doing endless amounts of critique on the Republican Party. Get out of here.
She thinks she's doing it for cheap points, but it's not grounded in political philosophy, and I don't have a ton of respect for her.
It's interesting you bring up the ideology, political philosophy, and legislative ideas. She even admits she doesn't have those. Listen. Okay, we don't have it, Carly, but I have it in front of me.
Yeah.
So she says this. She says on a Lone Star Politics interview, I should probably be a better politician and tell you, yes, we've got all this amazing legislation, and I can absolutely imagine Donald Trump signing it into law. Not going to lie, I think right now it's about preserving our basics and getting back to some norms. She goes on.
Nice clip, dude. You guys were so horny that you couldn't even get a clip out. Nice. Professional media broadcaster.
No ideas, but she wants to preserve.
She says, right now, I could tell you that, unfortunately, I'm not working towards very much.
Yeah.
That's the next line that she says.
I think we noticed.
And
yeah, this is the guy they love, by the way.
A couple of good paragraphs.
This is the guy that they voted for 3 times, who is now president the 2nd time. This was the first time he was running for president.
And it's talking about northern New Jersey draws the prober's eye. Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said. This was 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? Are you for real, dude? The entire right-wing movement has collectively decided that they will say the R word. That's their whole thing. Is saying the R word, okay? That's like comedy is no longer dead.